Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.
You are wrestling fans, and we are the Degenerates. Like to talk about it. This is Kicking Out at 2. I am Michael. With me, as always, is Tori. Hey, Tori.
Hello.
Tori's sporting a new look.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Liking the new look. We are going to talk about Monday Night Raw. This one is not as hit as the one the previous week, so a little happier to talk about it.
Right.
This is going to be the start of our new process of we're just going to kind of run through the results, and if there's a few things that we want to talk about, usually kind of capping at three count, we are going to go ahead and talk about it at that point. So pretty much speed through most of it. So basic show recap, Corey Graves announced that several WWE superstars were having trouble with travel. So
which apparently was a legitimate thing. Like there was a huge travel issue.
Yeah. So apparently there was a lot of rewrites going on, just real quick, trying to slot things in other places. Decent show for that though, which makes me think that Vince might have been one of those ones that didn't show up, and I'm okay with that because even the things that got changed made sense for what we're doing. Graves and Kevin Patrick ran down the Raw card as Rey Mysterio entered. Rey Mysterio and Dominic had a segment after that. Rey Mysterio, of course, coming out talking about how he was in the Hall of Fame and he appreciates all the love, and he had to fight his own son Dominic. A lot of "you deserve it" chants going on in the background. Dominic comes out and interrupts him, fucks up his line in the first statement that comes out his mouth. Is really fun.
Yeah, I caught that. I missed the first hour, so I caught that on YouTube, and I'm like, please just move on from this. Please move on from this.
So I mean, Dom cut to unnecessary long replays of Bad Bunny and their recent involvement at Mania. Dom said Bad Bunny made a lot of good music, but Damian Priest putting him through a table was music to his. This basically just led up to Ray's going to have a match with Finn. Of course, I love when Finn talks just because Finn sounds amazing when he says anything. He says,
right.
I don't want to fight my own father, but I know who will. Finn Balor then enters and comes out. What are you about to say?
It's one of those things that I try to remind myself Dominic is like 20. Like he's super young. So these flubs that he has on the mic and stuff like that, he's super young.
Yeah. I mean, he is really young in the business. Got all the potential in the world. So like we got to remember that. And here's the thing. I love Dom. I do. I don't think he's going to hit Rock status. We got to remember, like, Rock was shit on the mic when he started, and Rock screwed up all the time when he started.
And he had Rock that goofy ass haircut and tassels and
yeah. He had the Soul Glow Jerry curl on the top, and
that shit was so bad.
I'm not sure what the tassel thing was. It was weird looking.
I want to say it was done because it kind of looked like his grandfather's outfit at the time when it was supposed to have something to do like that, and it was bad.
That's what it was. It was a misstep.
Yes. It was a young kid and they didn't know what to do with him.
Yep. Finn Balor with Dominic defeated Rey Mysterio. It was about a 15-minute match. I don't know if they had to redo the spot at the end or what, but there was two separate spots of Dom trying to hit him with a chain.
I caught that.
Yeah, the first one didn't connect, and then the second one he connected him with it. So I don't know if they had to rerun the spot and go back to it, or if it was supposed to miss the first time.
Did. It kind of seemed like they did.
But so he gets it. Coup de grace for the pinfall. The coup de grace looked nasty. It was a very, very flush hit on that one this time. Got a quick interview segment earlier in the day. Maxine Dupree interrupted Kathy Kelly's interview with Alpha Academy. Otis wearing his best. But she basically said, hey, Otis is a specimen and you look like a gremlin. What's going on here? Just putting down little Chad Gable. After that, there was some screaming nearby. There was a scramble going on. Lita's down. She was apparently attacked. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez were there. The assumption was that they did it. When
It was the one-armed man.
Yeah, when Lynch and Trish Stratus came, they assumed that they did it. So that leads for the match later tonight, because later in the night we're supposed to have Lita and Becky versus Liv and Raquel. That's what's going to happen later tonight. There was a quick video package of the Cody Rhodes losing at Mania and him being attacked by Brock Lesnar the next night on Raw. Gray speculates that he was upset about his placement at the match of Mania. But we're supposed to hear from him, I guess, on Friday, is what I remember him saying. That
Friday or next Monday. I don't remember which.
Did
they say anything after Lita was attacked about Trish taking her place?
They did later. It was
okay,
like
so
right
we're
before
just
the match.
Freebird ruling this? They're not even a team and we're Freebird ruling this? Is that what we're doing?
Adam made it official, so what happened? In fact, actually,
okay,
that's what the next spot was. The next spot, Becky was talking to Byron Saxton, said that Lita was sent to a local medical facility, and when Lynch found out who attacked her, she planned on smacking their heads off. Lynch promised the people of title defense and planned on doing it by herself. And someone came up with a better idea. In comes Pierce and Trish Stratus. We found out that they have her take her place. So then that match goes off. It's 15 minutes 25 seconds. Decent match. There was a little bit of miscommunication here and there.
Yeah.
The commentary pulls it off very well, though, because they say, well, Lita and Trish aren't normal tag team. Of course, there's going to be miscommunication. Becky. Yeah. So of course there's going to be miscommunication.
Not just that too. Trish isn't a full-time active competitor anymore. This
has been her first match in a long time.
It's that. I mean, we've talked about it. I don't know how many times. Ring rust is a thing.
Yeah, you can be in shape, but being in ring shape and being in ring,
it's a different animal. Concept. And don't get me wrong, Trish looks amazing. But
yes, she does.
At this point, she's what, in her late 40s, early 50s?
She's 47 years old.
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's not like she's young.
I don't get it, and I agree with Lance Storm, who recently tweeted about Stacy Keibler, but this works for Lita, this works for Stacy, this works for Trish, this works for Stephanie, damn it. They're doing this whole aging thing wrong because you're supposed to look old as shit, and that's not happening.
Lita looks like she's been on the road because she's been touring.
Yes.
Like she's got an I've been touring with a band body.
Yeah.
Trish looks like she works out every day, but again, ring shape and physical shape are two different. Yoga shape, which is what she's in, but it's two different things.
It is. It's two different things. I mean, obviously, there's going to be some hiccups. There's going to be great spots, though. There was the normal tower spot, but they did it a little different than they normally do. I was a little worried about that one because Liv landed really hard on her tailbone, it looked like, and that can cause some damage.
That girl has taken some crazy bumps in the last year or so and just laughs them off.
Yep. Stratus did a assisted Stratusfaction to Rodriguez. So seeing Rodriguez do the flip off the corner was really cool because you're not used to seeing that from a taller girl. I won't say a bigger girl because she's not big, but she's definitely one of the taller girls in the group. So, so a lot of good spots there. This ended up happening at the end of it, though, is Trish ended up tagging herself in, and she got caught, got pinned, excuse me. There was a little bit of, I'm sorry's and all that to Lynch after the match, hugging and trying to raise hands, and Lynch just telling her it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. See the turn happening from a mile away.
Stevie Wonder saw this coming.
Yeah, because they spent way too long in the ring talking.
Yeah, they did.
But so Lynch goes to turn, Trish comes and nails her. Later
And
we
that
get
shot in the back was terrible too.
yeah. Well, to me, like those shots that are close to the ropes like that are always tough because
Yeah.
you don't want to hit those ropes too hard face first. So
Right.
falling and selling that is kind of difficult. So I get why it looked so bad. I do.
I would honestly have rather she was telegraphing it anyway when Becky started to walk off.
Yeah.
I would have waited. I would rather she stepped back and set up for the chick kick, and as soon as Becky turned around, bang.
Yeah.
Let the fans see it coming. Who cares?
Yeah.
Like I said, Stevie Wonder saw it coming. We knew it was coming in Mania.
Yeah, and that definitely could have been like a good crowd reaction too, because you got, you know, Lynch turned around and she being Trish gets down in that squat position like she's ready to kick her. Crowd's gonna react to it. Lynch is gonna wonder what the hell's going on, turn around, bam. Definitely probably a
Yeah.
better way to sell that.
It could have been much better.
Yeah. So Kelly's backstage with Paul Heyman, asked if he has any insight as to why Lesnar attacked Rhodes last week. Heyman says, Kelly, yes. He told her to ask another question. He then mockingly asked a question on her behalf about tonight's match between Solo and Kevin Owens. He goes through just kind of a tirade of, Sami Zayn's not here tonight. Riddle's not here tonight. They were smarter than Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is here with one leg. He's the proverbial one-legged man in an asking contest.
This is a great line.
And so
Such a
that
good line.
tonight Sikoa is going to be the problem solver and take care of it. So just a note on that, like he didn't embellish on it. He didn't talk about it, but just an affirmative yes that he knew something about what was happening with Lesnar. I think that's a good little note of something that's going to probably pay off later.
It's one of those things that at some point soon, whenever Roman drops the titles, yeah, it's just like Cody said. He's going to go back to being the advocate.
Yep. Saxton tried to interview Stratus, excuse me, as she's walking.
She walked right past him.
Yeah, walked right past him.
Like he wasn't even fucking there.
Which means we'll probably not hear what that's about until next week. My speculation, obviously, is I think Lita being knocked out was a work. We're going to get Lita also doing a heel turn. So then we're going to have the legends with the tag, going after the tag belts against the two faces. And then somehow Lynch is going to screw them out of that.
I thought we were getting Trish beat Becky. What? Why would we don't need Lita in this? We don't.
But what do you do with her then? You just have her go away, and then it's just
yes. She was hurt in the backstage attack.
Okay, so then
it's one of those things that her getting revenge is not necessary.
Yeah,
it's not. You could absolutely have her come out and say, "I got jumped. I don't know who did it. I saw what happened. I don't want any part of this," and she dips. She could social media that for all I care.
Well, I don't want her to come back and get revenge. I literally think that she wasn't attacked. That it was a work between her and Trish.
I don't see how in the long run that helps anything.
So the way I think that, to me, that goes over in the long run is Liv, I love her to death.
Mm-hmm.
Raquel, I think, is a star in the making. Not
Absolutely.
there yet, but she's a star in the making. If you put those two over on Trish and Lita, no matter how out of the pocket they are on their in-ring ability, that's a mark in a column for that team. So if they're going to keep them a team and make it a thing, because my worry with Liv is what, the 6th team that they've made out of her? Because they just kind of keep putting her with the next person. So
they kind of do, and it's
you want to solidify this as a team and a force to be reckoned with in the tag team division. Put her over Trish and Lita.
Fair point.
And you can make Lynch be part of that, and Lynch is getting her payback for losing the title and her turning on her and all that, and then we can lead to Lita versus or Trish versus Becky at the end of it.
Yeah.
Um, but Dakota Kai and Io Sky are waiting outside Pierce's office. Bailey emerged to inform them that she'd been trying to get them a tag team title match to get their tag titles back, but that was a no-go. She wanted to ensure that Pierce at least kept them as a team together after the draft. Bailey did have good news though, and the good news is that later that night there's going to be a 3-woman dance for a shot at the women's championship, and that she has that spot. Which of course then Sky runs her mouth in Japanese, which then Dakota goes, I think what she says is that should be one of us. Which of course then Bailey seems a little put off, but goes back in there, says that she's going to try to fight to have one of them that spot.
Yeah, this split up is so obvious.
Yeah.
The sooner that it happens, the better. Dakota and Io are not a bad team. They're not a team. They're not a smooth tag team. They're much better individual wrestlers.
Yes.
Problem is, kind of like that thing Brian shared with us, we have all of these female wrestlers and the tag titles and the world titles.
Yep.
So 3 belts for upwards of 20 people at this point?
Yeah.
15? That's a lot of people.
Well,
for nothing to do with them.
And even if we don't get a secondary singles title, the thing that gets me is we need to start having some story, and we don't have any. After that match, we had Bobby Lashley versus Bronson Reed.
Grace had a solution to the too many female wrestlers problem.
You'll take them?
Fight to the death.
Okay.
Well, she'd take them too for most of them, especially Rhea. Fight to the death. That was her suggestion.
I mean, we could always go back to Raw Underground. Put them all in the same.
We should never go back to Raw Underground.
I mean, we could, but I don't think Shane could go down the stairs now. But yeah, so next we had Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed. That ended in a double count out after 10 minutes and 31 seconds. I love Corey Graves because the last 3 weeks, man has referenced matches like this as saying this is a Big E special.
Right.
Because it's big, meaty men slapping meat. So basically it was just the whole point of this was Lashley's trying to put on the Hurt Lock. However, obviously Bronson Reed's too thick. He can't get it on him.
Right.
And so they end up, one of the last times he tried to get him in it, the way Bronson got out of it is he rolled to the outside. And so both of them fell to the outside. And then they just started beating the shit out of each other outside and then got the count out. So this is going to be a series of matches, and I'm perfectly fine with it. I think these two big behemoth dudes can just hell out of each other, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, I agree. This doesn't need to be pretty. It needed to be exactly what it was.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, to me, it's a good twist because I mean the thought you always have is, oh, who can break out of the lock? Well, no, can he even put him in the lock? That's the fight.
Yeah,
so I'm good with that. We had a Cody Rhodes promo, and Jesus Christ, every time this man opens his mouth anymore is just freaking wonderful. I just love him on the mic. So good. Rhodes normally entered to speak with a particular focus. He said basically he normally comes out here and says, what do you want to talk about? But I know what I want to talk about. So whether it's Seth Rollins and his torn pec, the Royal Rumble, finishing the story at WrestleMania, things were foggy, so he wanted to clear things up. In the main event of WrestleMania 39, Rhodes lost to the Tribal Chief. The crowd booed at that point, obviously. What?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought you were about to say something. Rhodes said,
I am, but it can be said afterwards.
Okay. Rhodes said there were a lot of fingers being pointed, but he wanted a fan to look no further than him. I lost, and I'm sorry. Rhodes said that his friend Matt said being in the main event was a win by itself.
To which Cardona tweeted, "Hey Cody."
Yeah. Rhodes said wins and losses still mattered, and main eventing wasn't enough for him. Hall of Famers knew that wins and losses mattered. They finished their stories.
Wins and losses don't matter. You're not in AEW anymore, dude.
Very
Wins
good,
and losses don't matter.
very good point. Rhodes also heard Heyman say that if they were ever to challenge for the title again, he would have to earn it. Rhodes thought that this dismissed his journey. Earn it. I am it, which was a great line.
Absolute great line.
Yeah, before dropping that line, he threw out like all the stuff. He's like, coming from nothing, Stardust, leaving, building my own company, coming back, Torn Pec.
He mentioned being the EVP too. I was like,
all that. And he's like,
okay.
I am it.
Yeah,
Perfect.
It was a great line. Great line.
Rhodes' story, though, now had a new wrinkle. Brock Lesnar. More embarrassing than laying in the ring with a rubber chicken next to your head instead of the Universal title was being laid out by Lesnar and offering a partnership. I love that he brought up the rubber chicken.
Yes. Keep going. I got to shut a door.
Sure. Rhodes heard the theories as to why Lesnar attacked him. Rhodes has his own theory. Maybe Lesnar was uncertain of the American Nightmare. Maybe Lesnar was uncertain of the change that was coming in WWE. Why else would Lesnar wait until his back was turned? Rhodes wondered why Lesnar would ever be uncertain. Rhodes ran down Lesnar's many accolades and victims. Lesnar looked at The Rock, looked at John Cena, Randy Couture, Undertaker, all as victims. Rhodes wondered, if that's how Lesnar looked at him. Rhodes then admitted that he was scared of Lesnar because you'd be crazy not to, but I still want to fight Brock Lesnar. Rhodes said he wants Lesnar to look in the mirror and not see the predator, but see prey. Lesnar would be Rhodes' victim. Rhodes then said he knew Lesnar wasn't here tonight, so he challenged him to a match at Backlash. Told him to answer the call.
Yeah, I'm not excited about this at all. I'm not.
I'm not excited. I am trepidatious a bit of it. Because I mean, you can't just have him beat Lesnar. I love Cody.
No.
But he can't just go in there and beat Lesnar. Like he just lost to Roman Reigns.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about this match.
Yeah. So as long as last 2 weeks or last 2 episodes of shows show us anything, hopefully Triple H is officially back in the seat and we're not going to see Vince coming in there tearing up crap again. And so with that being the case, I'm willing to see, because obviously he had to pivot, because I doubt this was Triple H's idea. So obviously we're gonna have to pivot this somehow. So I want to see what he does with it. We hit into the third hour. We have the Usos against Alpha Academy. This is one of those where I think this may have been hurt by the people not showing up, because I love Alpha Academy, I do, but this seemed like a downgrade for the Usos.
This match made no sense.
Yeah, it was just why are these two facing each other? This doesn't make any damn sense at all.
Yeah, 100% made no sense.
But it was fine. It did get a good showing for Chad, and it did get a good showing for Otis. Usos did end up going over at 13 minutes 5 seconds. What was really good about this is the tag team work between the Usos was really good.
Yes.
So, I mean, they were on offense for 20 seconds, and Patrick said that they were dominating. But like, you know, they showed a lot of weakness, but in an okay way. Like the Usos will never seem weak to me, but they let Otis and Chad kind of carry that a bit and show some strong work against them. We got to see the Caterpillar come back, which was kind of fun. I'm a big fan of the Caterpillar. I like it.
it's not bad. I just okay.
Yeah. Towards the end of it, Gable wiped out the Usos with a moonsault to the outside, and he followed up with a diving headbutt on Jimmy for a near fall. Jimmy tagged in and saved Jimmy from a Chaos Theory suplex, which that suplex is so sick. I can never say that enough. It's not he's not the one that made that move. Um, was it Danny
Doug
Burke?
Williams.
Yeah, Doug Williams. There we go. That's who it was.
Yeah,
Um,
when he was in a TNA, I think.
yeah, and he would do that, and it's a sick
Chaos
move.
Theory.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a beautiful suplex. I mean,
so Jimmy gets saved from the Chaos Theory suplex. The Usos super kicked Gable and gave him the 1D for the win. This was a fun match. Crowd really got into it. It didn't make a lot of sense, but it ended up being a really good match.
I definitely feel this was a people aren't here, so we need to do something.
Yeah, which I mean, props to Otis and Gable for that, because
absolutely,
if that's what it was, they went to them and said, "Hey, I need you to give them a good match," and that's what we got. So
well, and I agree with you that Alpha Academy is kind of a downgrade from where the Usos were, but at the same time, maybe that's why they let Otis and Gable look a little stronger.
Make it look like it's more of a threat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it also makes me wonder: are they still going to do the maximum model thing, or are we going to?
I think they still are, because I mean we're still kind of teasing with that. Otis is now wearing that stuff backstage instead of the Alpha Academy stuff, and we still have Maxine popping up every so often. I think that's something we can still slow burn and play with. What I would like it to be is this gets Chad to being working, because Chad needs to be that upper mid card, in my opinion. Of he could easily take the U.S. or Intercontinental title, and maybe every once in a while give him a shot at the world, just to like random SmackDown, random Raw, give him a match against whoever the champ is after Roman Reigns.
Right. I wonder if the brand split is not, if the draft, I wonder if they're going to split the titles.
It would be the smart thing to do. There's been that.
Absolutely.
There's been rumor floating around that Tripp has approved a new belt. And so, like, if he says, look, like, you've had us handcuffed for the past 400 some odd days, we really need to get this split off. So, as of this point,
900 and some odd days.
Oh, you're right. My apologies. I was thinking 4 years, and then 400 got stuck in my head. That would be a good opportunity to do that. If we say, okay, Sammy and Kevin get drafted to SmackDown, well, that means you have to let go of the Raw tag team titles. Those get shifted back to Raw. If Roman gets drafted to Raw, which he probably will, because he's the biggest draw and that's the biggest channel price point. Hey, that means you're going to have to let go of that SmackDown, whichever one it is. I think the Universal is the Raw and World is the SmackDown, either way. And then change the belt. Now it's its own thing. I don't know. It'd be a good way to do it, because finding a way to have him lose that title or have them lose just one of the titles, that seems to be a little more complicated for them, even though we've booked it 5 or 6 different ways.
Right. Yeah, I feel like at this point we have so handcuffed ourselves with these titles being under the undisputed title. Like, we get it. Well, at the same time, split Sammy and Kevin, cough them both up.
Split them in the draft.
And because of that, we're vacating both of them. SmackDown and Raw will each have their own champions again.
Yeah. I don't know if we're ready to do that, though. Like, we just got them together.
We need to do something.
Yeah. That leads us to the triple threat match. It's Io Sky with Bayley and Dakota, going against Michin and Piper Niven. About 8 minutes 17 seconds. Io Sky comes away with the win. It was a really good match, a lot of fun. I personally wanted Piper to win. I think she needs an actual solid run at the title, and not like half paid crap that they've been doing. But
I hesitate to say it this way. I don't think she'll ever get that run because of her size.
I don't disagree.
I don't like it. I don't think it's right.
Yeah.
But
I think, as much as I think they have grown, because I mean obviously they have. We've had people that do not look like the cookie cutter divas that have been winning the titles. However, we still have the Taminas that should have had a title run by now. We'll have Piper Nivens that should have a run for the title. People that are not conventionally those body types. Because even though, and like you said, it's a tightrope. I don't want to say it too bad, but even though the colors have changed, the bodies have not. So we're not getting all the representation that we really want.
I know. That, and I think they would have a problem with her accent on interviews.
See, and I don't understand that, because I think Piper's...
I don't either.
I think Piper's is fine. Piper's is just a hair away from Becky. Like,
yeah.
Could work on it a little bit, maybe, but he's not too far off what Becky does.
Like we were talking about earlier, like Brian had mentioned, this is where a secondary women's title would be really helpful.
Absolutely.
Because you put that on her and she takes off and runs with it, you go, oh, okay, well, now we can consider doing something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Saxton interviews Owens. Owens knew what he was going to ask. Said it's not wise to take this match tonight, but his heart told him he had to beat the hell out of Solo Sikoa for what he did to him on Friday. Owens knew that Zayn and Riddle weren't there. Owens then suggested Saxton read the back of his shirt, and he did, which said, "Just keep." Owens acted impressed.
That Saxton could read. We all are.
Yes. Which then leads us to main event. We got Solo Sikoa.
Which was a really good match.
It was a really good match. Solo Sikoa is far and away better than he has any right to be, as young as he is in the business. And not to mince words, but he's also in there with Kevin Owens. So
yeah,
Kevin Owens.
No, you're not wrong.
Kevin Owens could wrestle Mop, and we're probably
Kevin Owens could get a good match out of one of us. So
yep. My fat ass and bad knee could probably have a good match with Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
So the whole idea was that obviously they're banking on the leg the entire match. We get to a point where Kevin is trying to do pop-up powerbomb, which he actually gets it, but that kind of tears him up for the match. Goes for the stunner, doesn't get it. Koa nailed Owens with a Samoan spike for the pinfall. At that point, Bloodline comes in, puts boots to Owens, and then a cameraman magically is at the opening of the center, which sees Zayn and Riddle running down. So then they all go in there and they have waylay between all of them. Owens gives Jimmy a stunner, but Sikoa saved Jay from the haluva kick. Owens, Zayn, and Riddle stood tall as the Bloodline backed away. We know where this is going. It's going to be a 6-man. I don't care because I don't care about Riddle. I just have lost all. Well, I never really had any backing for him to begin with. I've never been a Riddle fan.
None.
But that's where we're going to end up probably at the next pay-per-view. Is all 6 of them in the ring together. Interesting note, when Cody Rhodes talked about going against Brock Lesnar, he didn't just say Backlash, he said WrestleMania Backlash, which apparently was a flub on his part because they haven't called it WrestleMania Backlash in a time.
Oh, are they just calling it Backlash this
Yeah.
year? Because every other year it's been,
Yeah.
the past few years has been WrestleMania Backlash.
Apparently, they're moving it back to just Backlash.
I'm fine with that.
He slipped the word WrestleMania. I'm fine either way. The name's the name. It's Backlash for WrestleMania. Always kind of been, not always, but since they put it
Yeah.
after WrestleMania, that's always kind of been the point of that's the cash of WrestleMania.
Right.
But I mean, it was a good night overall. Even with the quick rewrites that they had to do because of the travel issues. It does seem to be that Vince was not in anybody's pocket this time, so hopefully we'll continue to see that. SmackDown was also good because of that, so hopefully we'll continue to see that he just takes a step back and only handles the business side of things as he should. Still rumors coming that Stephanie could be coming back into the business. See that come back. I think she was really just taking time off. I think all.
Oh no, when her dad came back, she dipped. She said, "I'm done. I'm out."
Well, yeah. So I don't know. Maybe she'll come back and her and Tripp run it.
I would so much rather see them start their own thing. Have her get involved with Maria's Women's Wrestling Army. Give them the backing that they need. Have them start working with PWG or something. Just walk away, let Vince sink the ship, because that's what would happen.
Yeah,
they can act like it wouldn't. If you let Vince book week after week after what we've gotten for the last year, no, your ratings, your audience, your numbers all go to the toilet.
Yeah,
every one of them.
Now there was another rumor that I saw. I don't remember who posted this, but there was a call sheet supposedly found backstage of the pay-per-views coming up or PLEs coming up. And that SummerSlam was branded WWE versus WWE SummerSlam. So I don't know what that means, but I know what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, no, this is the theory that they're actually going to do this.
Yeah. That we're actually going to see Vince's WWE versus Triple H's WWE.
I think the draft will answer a lot of questions for that.
Yeah. So we'll see what
because
happens.
When you see certain people going to one show, which it'll probably be SmackDown. Yeah, no, I definitely think that the draft is going to answer some questions there, because there's no chance, if they're doing that he is not booking SmackDown. They're going to give Hunter SmackDown.
Sorry.
They're going to give, Vince is going to want the 3 hours.
Yeah.
You can have 3 hours, bro. Vince, he's still going to book you under the table, bro.
Yeah. Well, and so here's the thing. If we're going to do that, you're going to see very quickly what's going to happen. And despite the seat that he's in, if it's just for the show, just for the creative, okay. I could see how this definitely works. It makes it seem like Vince is out of touch. And that show will drop, and Tripp comes over, and then we're all fine and good. Tripp is running the show. But also Vince McMahon. God knows what's going to happen. I would rather talk about the draft with a bit of hype, though. I always love draft. Draft is always a lot of fun to me. You get cool little things that, nothing comes out of it, or stupid things come out of it. Like when they split up the Dudleys, like that was a cool surprise of holy shit. Like it came out to be crap, but
there was the momentary surprise of holy shit, and then there was the why the fuck?
Yeah. Like same thing with the New Day getting split, and like it's there's cool little moments like that where it's like, holy crap, that's weird that we're doing this.
Right.
With Tripp running it could be a lot more fun. See what we're gonna do with it. Who do you want to
Yeah,
move? Let's play a little what we want to see. Well, and actually,
I want to
but
get.
before we do that, it's interesting to note that he said every superstar is eligible. He didn't say on Raw or SmackDown. He said every superstar, which means that NXT could be part of this, and
Yeah,
also
they're
that
gonna.
belts are part of it. If you're a champion,
I definitely think we move Pete Dunne away from the Brutes
absolutely.
somewhere, and we start calling him Pete Dunne again. Um, I think they definitely will split up Sheamus and Drew.
Yeah. That's something we
They're
can
on
always
different.
go back
Well,
to.
they're already on different shows. Wasn't Drew a Raw guy?
Yes, but I the thing is, I'm hoping that this draft, because again, with the events of it all, it got muddled again. Of the draft wasn't really a
Yeah.
draft; it didn't really damn matter. Hopefully, now this will actually matter, and it'll say, okay, Sheamus is on Raw and Drew's on SmackDown, or vice versa, and then we actually, you actually split the two.
Honestly, I will say if you're moving people, I would move Sheamus and the Neckbreaker to Raw. He doesn't get the good nickname of the Crippler. He's just the Neckbreaker because. Anyway. So, yeah, move Sheamus and Ridge to Raw. Leave Butch and Drew on SmackDown.
Go to that.
I hope Ray gets drafted to a retirement home.
So, did you hear that Ray's pushing for his final match?
No.
He wants it to be hair versus mask. Dom.
With really?
Yeah. Which makes perfect sense. Dom's been growing out the mullet.
There's no chance Dom is losing that match.
No. That's, to me, that's the whole point, is to get Ray
I
out.
heard they're trying to get Conan back and turn the LWO heel and let Ray do a short-term heel run. He's never been a heel.
He was in WCW for just a hot second.
What, a week or two?
Well, it was when the Filthy Animals first started, because they started as a heel faction, and then
Which
the
lasted
fans
about a
loved
week
it.
or two.
Yeah, the fans loved it, and it's like, oh well, shit, never mind, they're faces. People love them.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Honestly,
I'd buy that though.
Here's the thing.
You'd have to flip Dom.
No, you wouldn't.
Him and Dom reconnect.
You have him and Dom. You have Dom lose a match to Ray again, and Finn or Priest say something to the effect of, "How do you keep losing to this guy?" And sow that seed. And eventually, you could play this out. If you did this right, you could drag this to Mania. Just long-term breadcrumb booking.
I just want to go on record. You are booking in a compelling story of your second most hated wrestler.
That's fair. If I'm look, if
at
we're
the
gonna,
end of it, Dom chops him on the head and pins him 1, 2, 3.
I quit. I quit.
Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
So you start this slow turn. You also start building up the Judgment Day. Bring up some younger talent, like a Braun, a Von Wagner.
No. I have the perfect inclusion for the Judgment Day. So
Schism.
specifically because the grizzled young vets want their release.
One out.
So you let them out, and you bring up
Joe Gacy.
Yeah, Joe Gacy and Rock's daughter.
Ava.
Yeah.
Ava.
Her up, and just bring them up in the Judgment Day. Rhea's gonna go
Take
off and do her
Rhea-
own thing.
Take Rhea out. She just says, "You're good. Mommy's got to take care of this."
Or do what is obvious already. She is the leader of that group. Have her bring in those two.
Yeah, and say
So-
they're going to take over because I got to go handle my business on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But you start doing this little bit at a time. Things with Dom and Finn and whoever else. And Ray going, "You don't need these guys. You've got the LWO right here. We understand you." Blah, blah, blah. I do understand that the downside of this is Priest, because obviously he has a Latino heritage. I mean, his name used to be Punishment Martinez, so you know. But
when he used to be Bad Bunny's little running buddy.
right, he was Bad Bunny's tag team partner when he hit that Destroyer was still some of the prettiest shit ever. But you do this, and in doing so, you start having Legado and Ray doing these little heel-ish things. Zelina can play a heel, we know this. Legado can play a heel, we know this. Ray starts doing something happens, and he's like, "I don't like this," and Santos is like, "But we won. We're not losers." And Ray goes, "Good point." And then you have Ray do something. Like you go with the "I don't want to do this" behaviors, but then he does this, and you're off to the races.
Ray Phoenix with the hammer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually he takes it because that's what we got to do.
And you heel turn them. You could, if you get Priest and Balor to turn on Dom, they're gonna get face pop.
Yeah. Well, and you can
If
even
you bring Gacy up, you can even heel versus heel on this. Who can out heel the other team?
well, heel versus heel is such a hard split to do.
I personally am fine. I don't think it is. Because, especially in this situation, because you've already got beef. There's already tons of beef. There's like a whole half a cow over here. There's tons of beef. But you can easily do this with, "We can cheat better than you can." I mean,
So here's the
and at
thing, though.
some point-
I think if you start doing that, though, turning the LWO heel is useless. Because
running Conan out there with him will solidify that because people hate that guy.
I don't know. I think if Ray starts letting him act like Eddie, lie and the cheat, the steal, and all that, I think the fans fall in love with him again.
I don't know. I read that somewhere that they talked about putting Conan with the LWO and heel turning him. I don't like Ray, but I'm really curious to see how a heel turn would go. See him start doing some of the cheating stuff.
I'm with you. I think we can do that without Conan.
I agree,
We don't need
but
it.
you're going to get guaranteed instant heat with Conan.
Yeah, because he's going to spend the next 15 minutes talking about himself.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah, I mean, do you think there's any major moves? Like, do you think like the upper echelon of the card stays where they are?
I feel like they do. I think we may officially transfer Sammy to Raw.
Okay.
With Kevin.
Yeah.
I would be real interesting. Ooh. Leave Sammy where he's at because they're the tag champs. They can go wherever with the way it is. Move Jay.
Flip
Just-
the Usos.
Jay.
Yeah.
Just Jay. Or move Solo and Jimmy.
I think that is more interesting because
Because then Jay is left with Roman.
and then he gets the brunt of everything.
and
Kinda
that's
like
he's not going to put up with that for long.
especially
But
not
no,
with
I overall,
Sammy jabbering in his ear all the time.
um, I don't think they bring Breaker up yet.
Not with this new heel turn. I don't think that he comes up yet.
Shit, I'd rather than bring Mello up.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, and here's the thing. I don't really know if anybody down there is ready yet.
I don't think so.
I think if
Zoe
Toxic
Stark
track
maybe.
Zoe Stark could be. Zoe's pretty there. I think Nikita could be if she could stay healthy.
Yeah.
He keeps getting hurt.
If she could stay healthy and not be racist, that would help too.
That would help. It would absolutely help.
Not being problematic is a thing. Toxic Attraction, if they were still a team, absolutely could come up. They'd have been like the Iconics.
Yep.
Which you could bring them back too, and I'd be fucking pumped about it.
Absolutely.
I fucking love those girls. Shit, I want to see them show up in a AEW. Send them after put together a women's tag division and send them after the women's tag titles.
They may show up on one of our shows. Man.
I mean,
well, because we're gonna have to draft some people at some point.
Oh yeah.
They may show up on one of our shows. They may or may not have already been downloaded.
Did you download? Did you get the Iconics?
Yeah. Yeah. There. So is FTR, and begrudgingly downloaded Darby.
Why do you dislike Darby?
Well, I can't picture him facing like bigger people. I can't. It's like Zach Gowen. Zach Gowen was in there with Brock Lesnar, and I'm like, how am I supposed to believe this guy's going to beat him?
How are you going to compare Darby Allin to Hopalong Cassidy?
You know that he was the wrong one-legged wrestler.
What?
So there's a story.
This is not a shorter episode, by the way. I'm just saying.
Well, that's because we've been talking about other things for like the last 20 minutes.
Okay.
But we'll wrap it up after this because this is a fun story. Bruce Pritchard on his podcast likes to tell the story of how Zach Gowen got hired. He was being told about this this guy in the Indies who's a really good wrestler and he has one leg.
Okay.
So they wanted to bring him in for a tryout. And so he told Johnny, "Hey, go find this kid, one-legged wrestler on the Indies. Go find him, bring him in for a tryout." So they bring in Zach. Zach does a tryout. Of course, he gets the contract and all that. But the guy that told Bruce about the one-legged wrestler goes, "Who's that kid?" That's the one-legged wrestler. No, it's not. So he shows him some tape of the guy he was talking about. That guy got hired because Johnny grabbed the wrong one-legged wrestler. Come on, kid.
You know, in good
get your prosthetic. Come on.
How does it feel to be that other kid?
You could have been at WWE. You could have been pushed down the stairs by Brock Lesnar. But anyway, Zach Gowen now is on the Indies, and he does this tag team with this autistic wrestler.
Really?
I love it.
Okay.
But with that, we're going to go ahead and close this out. Thank you for listening and enjoying our show. Hopefully you're enjoying it. If you want to see all of our lexicon, all the stuff going on here, watch us right here at Kicking At It 2 on YouTube. Hit us up on all the socials down below. We're going to get some new TikTok stuff out there, hopefully in the next couple of days. I'm recording some more right after this and get some more out there. I had to come up with some new one-liners. Took me a while. But we appreciate it. Definitely hit us up, come back to us, and we will catch you on the next one.